Hello, today we're gonna be super Danish, and we're gonna eat
smørrebrød.
We're the Youngs.
We've spent our lives traveling the world, and in 2018 we moved from
Chicago, Illinois to
Copenhagen, Denmark.
Now we want to share with you
how our new lives abroad
is keeping us young.
keeping us young.
are helping to keep us young. So today we're not at home because we've taken a short trip downtown to Copenhagen.
Yes. And we are in one of my favorite places, which is Torvehallerne, and this is like the foodies mecca here in Copenhagen.
And we came here to do a video that you've been really looking forward to.
Yes, very, very much. We're gonna get some smørrebrød.
Yeah, we came down, we're gonna pick up some smørrebrød, we're gonna take it home.
Yes.
We're gonna eat it, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna experience it.
And I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with smørrebrød because I always like, when we say we're gonna go get it, I'm like, ugh, smørrebrød. And then I have it and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. So
yeah, well,
we'll see.
Thought that would be a fun way to have a Tuesday video, is us eating some smørrebrød. So we came downtown here to Copenhagen just for a few minutes, just long enough to pick up some sandwiches to take home and eat. But let's take a quick walk around Torvehallerne for the moment. While we're here, maybe we can find something else that's interesting to buy because there's a lot of cool shops.
Lots of cool shops.
All right, well, let's go inside.
Woo! We bought so much food I can't actually use my hands. We got 4 smørrebrød and 2 fastelavnsboller because it's almost fastelavn. And they all look extremely beautiful, and we're gonna take them home and see how they taste.
As always, we love your recommendations on ideas, and we've had a couple people suggest some things to try. And so I want to show them to you now. From the candy video, somebody suggested liquid banana scum. Alrighty, that was quite good. The second thing is, people suggested that we put vanilla ice cream on æbleskiver. Thank you for the ideas. Please keep giving them to us because æbleskiver ice cream is fantastic. I'll never go back to the old way again. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you like this video. We appreciate it. Now let's get back to the smørrebrød. We are back home from Copenhagen where we picked up some smørrebrød.
Yep.
And I'm going to start with a shot. This is some snaps that Maya and I got when we were at Den Gamle By in Aarhus earlier this year.
Yep.
I think this is a good way to begin. School. All right, so I just want to start by saying that any reactions or anything I say about this is not a reflection of the quality of the food in any way.
It's just us being American.
And my taste buds, which is not acclimated to fish or leverpostei.
Or onions.
Or onions. I'm also not an onion fan.
Hates onions.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, please. But we want to be honest and realistic about what we're doing. And so we got 4 different kinds. Miranda, do you want to explain what they are?
Yeah, so we got one that is, and all of these are on rye bread. And so we've got a leverpostei with, I'm hoping that's a beet and not like a piece of liver, with bacon and I think lingonberries. And then we've got one that is the eggs with the shrimp on top and like a mayonnaise kind of thing. We have one that is, he said it was fish cakes with like a dill mayonnaise on top and some little fishies. And then we've got this one that's a roast beef with lots of onions for Josh.
Crispy onions.
They're crispy onions. and some pickles and there's some fresh horseradish too, I think.
So I have had, when I'm in a situation where this is presented to me, I will gravitate towards the egg and shrimp one and the roast beef one. Those are things I like. The edges of this plate certainly include things I would not typically eat. But I will try all of it.
And I should say, we do like to go to Amans. Like, especially when people come and visit, we'll take them to, there's a place in Copenhagen called Amans that we do like to go and experiment a little bit more. But I feel like these are extra Danish.
These are the kinds of things that, like, when I was working at my first job, whenever they catered lunches, there would be things like this at lunch, and people would just pick whatever, and I would like race to the shrimp egg one.
I
have
to say there is like a very large slab of leverpostei on this one that's quite thick. So
all right, so with that, we're gonna cut into this, and we'll put little servings. Let's do it this way, where we have a little bit on each of our plates, and we'll resume there.
Yep.
All right, so we've now divvied everything up, and for those non-Danes, smørrebrød, I'm trying my best to say this right, stands for buttered bread.
Yes.
And it's an open-faced sandwich that, it's funny because I've heard Danes say that when they see Americans try to make this, they just kind of randomly take stuff.
Which is wrong. You don't do that.
There's a specific set of ingredients that go in specific versions of this. And it's tricky because, like, when I go to a restaurant and see it, it's hard. I know some Danish words, but there's like 10 different things on this, and I don't know 10 different words. And so it's really hard to even know what they are because there's so much on each of these. It's like a ridiculous amount of flavor.
Yeah.
So we're going to, I guess, dig in. Which one are we going to eat first?
Do we do worsted first and do leverpostei first? Or?
Sure, we can do leverpostei first.
And I say that lovingly because, I mean, for Americans, we just don't eat liver pate as much as Danes, so...
I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure to get some beet and bacon.
I do love beet, and I love bacon, so I'm going to try to...
This may be similar to what we had at the Christmas.
That's actually quite good. You don't like it?
No, I just can't do the leverpostei.
No? You do get a little bit of that earthiness.
You earthy. Taste like earth.
It is kind of gritty, though. It's slightly gritty, but I think that just comes with any kind of pate. It's just kind of gritty. Let me take a second bite.
Yeah, it does taste a lot like what we had at Christmas in our...
it's good with the beet, though.
Julefrokost. Well, I like, oddly, I'm a fan of beet, so I like beet. And that sweetness is nice. That wasn't on the one at Julefrokost, but...
These berries are quite nice as well.
Yeah, and the bacon, of course. I mean, we had a dog named Bacon. We're fans of bacon.
What do you do next?
All right, I think we should dig into this
fish.
The shrimp egg one, which was also in the Julefrokost.
It was.
And I know that I like this, but we included it because it's a pretty typical, traditional smørrebrød. When you get some, it's always on the menu, and it's quite good.
Which this is the one that always surprises me because in my head I think shrimps with eggs is kind of gross, but then I taste it and it tastes pretty good. So
it makes me think like what would happen if you took a deviled egg
and put shrimp on it. Oh, that would be good.
An American thing. If you've never had deviled egg, it's basically a boiled egg, whites, and then the yolk is like kind of whipped with mayonnaise and stuff, and then stuck back inside.
It's so good.
Super good, and I bet it'd be interesting to taste with, with some shrimp on it.
Yeah, I do like this one.
But I will say there's heavy use of mayonnaise.
There's a lot of mayonnaise.
But there's bread. Rye bread is consistent on all these with butter on it.
Yeah.
Which is where the name comes from. So I think it's time for another shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was an interesting flavor. One thing I will say, if you're ever in Copenhagen and you go to Amans, when you get smørrebrød there, they actually have recommendations for different snaps to get. And so they pair them like quite carefully with what you're eating. But we're just going rogue and drinking whatever schnapps this is.
They have all these, it's really cool homemade stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
you say,
homemade.
just
It's
give
really
me a
good.
pairing with each of the dishes.
Yeah, and they have like a whole wall of all these homemade schnapps that they have.
So this one, if anybody can tell us, it'd be great to
We
learn.
have no idea what this
because
is.
we got it in Dingamblabu when Maya and I were there.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know what
right?
it is. Yeah, it almost looks like a parish thing, but not quite.
Or
and it
yeah.
says kvede snaps.
Kvede. Yeah.
Kvede snaps. It's a softie.
Yeah.
So if anybody can tell us exactly what this is, I'd love to know. But it tastes good. It's not as sweet as like the Hindbear ones and other ones that we have because I like sweet stuff. But it's
got an
solid
interesting
and it's
flavor.
certainly serving its purpose right now
Yeah.
to
help us get
help
this.
us get through
I mean,
this.
but I can't complain. Like, actually, it's been quite good so far.
Yeah. And also, by the way, I'll say I'm really excited we're actually doing this in daylight for once.
I can't
Daylight.
see the
We're
sun is
finally
out, but
we're finally shifting into a point where it's not like
It's not
dark all the
dark all
time,
the
and we
time.
have daylight outside our windows.
yeah. And Josh and I are different about that. I actually love the winter season when it's dark all the time because I love all the candles and.
So I'm
things
doing
like
the
that.
fish one
You're
next.
doing the fish one next.
By the way, I do not like fish.
No, I normally don't, but I feel like the fish.
And I
cakes-
like cake, so
I've
you'd
had
think fish cake would
This
be.
is not.
No,
cake.
it's
But
it's
I've
not
had the
cake.
fish cakes before, and I usually like them. The
I'm
frikadelle.
not excited about this at all.
But it doesn't taste fishy.
It does. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's slightly fishy.
I'm gonna go back and get a little egg.
It's like on our first candy video when you like wiped your mouth with the egg candy. It's another egg palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. It's not like I don't find this super fishy. Like, it's not gross fishy. Like, it's definitely not like herring.
No, although the herring at Aman's is quite good.
Well, the one that we had was really good because it was. We went once and I had one that had been like pickled in solbär, and that was really good.
All right. So the last one I've had, because this is kind of one of my default, along with the shrimp egg one.
I see a carrot in there.
Which, by the way, we don't know the names of these, and I
No,
would
we
have
don't.
to assume that each of these have a specific name. Because
I'm
when
sure
you go
they
to
do.
any place that prepares smørrebrød, they have
I think the place
a
one
lot of the same
with
ones,
the
and it's a common.
Yeah, isn't the place one with the shrimp called like Shooting Star or something? There's one that's called Shooting Star, and I can't remember which one it is, but it's not this one.
So this is going to have roast beef,
Horseradish, whatever this yellow
some
stuff is.
yellow stuff, which is some kind of
Like a
chutney
chutney.
thing, and then a cucumber, and of course the standard rye bread.
This is a good one. I like this one. It's kind of sour. It's like
The
it's got
chutney
the
is super strong.
yeah. It's like you get the sour of the I think the chutney, but then you kind of get that onion in there too, and the horseradish.
So
It's really good with that chutney. I forget how much I
right,
enjoy
my,
chutney.
I can't read that. She's sitting right there,
I'm over here.
Yeah.
and she's like written something that I can't read.
No, I was trying to say that the fish cake is called a frikadelle.
Frikadelle. Yeah.
Frikadelle?
Frikadelle.
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 No, it's not
Boyashak kasha or something.
God.
So that one has an
Yeah, that one's frikadelle. Which
Well,
I knew
mean,
that.
Like, it's like the fish cake itself is a frikadelle.
It's
The-
frikadelle.
oh, the
yeah,
fish cake, not the
fish cake
whole
no,
sandwich,
no.
but-
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've had like frikadelle just on its own
Yeah,
randomly, and I actually quite like it. So
yeah.
So I want to say a few things too. We went down to Copenhagen. We just for people to know, because obviously
Yeah.
there's restrictions in place now. We drove there. We parked right next to it. We were only inside for 10
Yeah.
minutes, enough to take some footage. We both went inside because we wanted to make sure that we could pick some stuff out, but we were barely inside.
yeah.
We definitely understand that there's restrictions, and we tried to go to a place in Lungbu because there's a very traditional old small place in Lungbu, and it wasn't open on Saturday. You had to kind of order ahead of time, and we didn't do that.
Yeah,
So
and
we
it's hard to do it during the week with work. So
Yeah, so we decided to find a place that we could go to that
Yeah.
we know would be open on Saturday.
And then we got there and it was super crowded, so I didn't feel like 100% comfortable.
But it's interesting. I mean, it was crowded by today's standards. It wasn't crowded by...
It wasn't crowded by
a year ago standards.
It
But
was
today
empty
it feels crowded because plus there's all these like paths that you have to walk and barriers and things that just makes it feel crowded.
But I mean, we had to go because this is where you go to get the beautiful food. You know, Torvehallerne always has the most beautiful food. I love going there.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a saying in Denmark, but in America they say that the more colors you have on the plate, the healthier your meal is. Yeah. I feel like every single color is on this plate. From greens to reds to yellows to oranges to browns.
Especially the leverpostei was so colorful with the beet and the lingonberries on top and... You know, so I think this is one of those things where, like, you know, the Danes eat, you know, quite healthy. And I think they do like to have the colorful foods and things, so.
Yeah, well, this is not exactly my style. But,
it's not.
And Maya prepped us and said, make sure to not say anything mean because
Danes
they take your food quite seriously.
Very serious about
it. I mean, I'd probably be the same way if you said something about, like, chicken and waffles or biscuits and gravy or...
Yeah.
You know, some kind of American thing.
And I have to say, I need to stop being so, like, pessimistic about how Smørrebrød is going to be. Because when you mentioned doing this, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. You know, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, that looks really gross. And then, then we have it. And it's like, oh, this is actually really good, and I would eat this again. I mean, I'm sure there's probably not the fish cake. You wouldn't eat the fish cake again. I would honestly eat the leverpostei again, though.
I would not. I know that Brisket will, because we learned that Brisket loves leverpostei, by the way. He doesn't eat very many dog treats, but he will rock and roll with some leverpostei.
That and cheese.
Yeah, his favorite things. So we're gonna stop for just a moment because we also bought some desserts.
We did.
Which I took bites of all this, so I feel like I deserve it. So
we need to take a bite of what we got.
Let's check out the desserts. Ready for dessert. I feel like how many shots have I already had?
2.
No, I had an extra one too.
Oh, me, you're drinking extra.
Boy, and it's 3:00. Yeah. Not even.
But it's Saturday. You know what?
I got nothing going on. One
Saturday.
more. This is going to be a dessert one, which I know is Christmas, but it's this Christmas peppermint.
It's so good.
That we got this at the Border Shop a couple years ago, and I realized I never drank it, and so
somebody was mentioning in the comments that we should go to the Border Shops. We love the Border Shops when they're open, and we can go.
There's like an Advent candle, so. I'm just starting it now, and
sorry.
I feel like I need to. Yeah, I've been drinking it, as you wouldn't know, but I'm telling you, I have been.
Drink a little every day. It's good for you.
Cheers.
Cheers. No. Yeah. Skål. Oh, I thought I wouldn't be able to do that one go, but.
So what is this called?
So these are fastelavnsboller. And so, for people who are not Danish and don't know what fastelavn is, it's like a holiday that they celebrate similar to Carnival, and it's right before you go into Lent. And I learned about fastelavn because I'm sorry, this is kind of a crazy tradition. They used to put a black cat into a barrel and beat it to ward off evil spirits. So you see a lot of like barrels, but like these days kids kind of dress up in costumes and things. And so we're kind of getting close to fastelavn. And so they had these ridiculous bowlers.
And it looks like basically almost like, it's kind of like a croissant-ish, but it feels like it's almost like a cruller.
Well, yeah.
It looks like a French cruller type of consistency.
I looked and it
with the cream in it.
It has marzipan and it has like hindbær marmalade, which is raspberry marmalade. And like pastry cream and like whipped cream. There's all kinds of stuff.
There's almost like a cinnamon-y thing up on the top. So we saw cocoa. We saw it at the granny house.
Yeah, well, I saw the other ones that were like more like a donut.
Yeah, and there's like they had those at the Q8 we saw the other night. But then we saw this and I'm like, why would we get that? This is ridiculous.
I was like, what is that? No, forget that. We're getting this one. And then I was like, well, maybe we can get one and split it. And Josh was like, no, we're getting 2.
Why would we do that? That seems stupid. And so the granny house, which there was one next to where we used to live in Suborg. Yeah. And it's a nice place. Really but then there's this one here in, that was at Torvehallerne that we went to.
I forgot there was one at Torvehallerne.
This is the reward for...
I mean, I don't feel like we suffered. But
suffering,
still,
that's
a
a
reward,
pretty strong word.
you know?
So yes, we didn't suffer.
But we're definitely eating all of our daily calories.
Yeah, this
right now.
This has fewer colors.
This.
Not as healthy. But looks amazing.
But you know what? It's good for your heart in other ways. It makes you feel good.
That is so good.
Oh.
So good.
Oh, look.
The whole lint thing isn't a thing for me, but this I'm game for. So
yeah. My goodness. I'm speechless.
It almost tastes like a Napoleon a little bit.
A Napoleon? Like the ice cream?
In the U.S., there's this thing called a Napoleon. It doesn't look anything like this, but if I just think about the taste in my mouth, it's very similar to what's called a Napoleon, which is like a pastry you can get in the U.S., which is this kind of like interesting cruller / croissantish / I don't know, doughy, fried doughy thing. And then there's like it's like different layers of things that are, and it's basically in like a rectangle, a cube that they slice it, I guess, and they have it at delis or like dessert places, bakeries.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Napoleon. It's what it tastes like, but it looks nothing like it.
No.
So don't expect it to look like it. But when I think about all the flavors in my mouth, it's that kind of.
I have to say this is quite light, even like as much stuff is in it. I mean the cream is like really quite light.
All right, well, I'm not going to make you suffer through watching us eat the whole thing, but I promise you I will eat the whole thing.
I'm going to keep going.
When we turn the camera off. Yeah, so thank you. We thought it would be fun to kind of share our experience eating some smørrebrød and
be brave Americans if any.
Yeah, I mean,
if
certainly.
Anybody can come over again.
If you're a tourist coming here, you definitely got to try it because it's like part of being in Denmark. It's a very traditional. And Danes are quite proud of the smørrebrød, and it's like all over the place.
Yeah, and I think we don't have anything like it in the U.S., so it's kind of overwhelming to look at when you like walk up to a smørrebrød place, especially someplace like this, which is kind of gourmet.
I think part of it is because Americans like we try to. There's like I feel like a high percentage of lunch foods are eaten with your hands in America, and dinner foods are knife and fork.
Yeah,
where. Typically in Denmark, almost everything is knife and fork. So an American might even try to eat this like picking it up with their hands, because that's just sandwiches and all those things in America are eaten with your hands. So this is like.
I still remember the time. I have to tell a story really quick. One time, one of Maya's friends came over, and Maya was like, "Hey, can you make a sandwich for us?" And it was like she wanted a ham and cheese or something, and her friend like put out 2 pieces of bread and then put stuff on top of it, like she was making a smørrebrød. And then Maya came down, and she was like, "What's that?" And she was like, "I meant you to make a sandwich." So
yeah, it's very different, but it is a very interesting, and if you're a tourist here, you absolutely have to go.
Definitely. Don't be scared.
Tons of places have them. I mean, typically when there's no corona, you can find a lot of places that are open, especially like in Tivoli Food Hall, there's a big place and a number of spots that you can get these, and you've got to try it. And I would suggest trying one made for you versus trying to construct one yourself.
Yeah.
Because you will likely do it wrong. You'll slice the bread at the wrong width, and you'll have the wrong ingredients. And
I'm
it's
sure
better.
We broke some kind of rule, like cutting this in half and serving it to ourselves.
Yeah. So we just wanted to do this. We thought it would be fun to show you an American's reaction to eating some smørrebrød. Yeah. And we appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're super excited about all the people supporting us and the community that we're building. It means a ton to us.
And we've had so many helpful comments about, things to do, places to go, and it's so great to just see the interaction that people are giving.
Yeah, and we can't wait till we can actually go outside in the nice weather besides our very quick 15-minute trip to Copenhagen today, but actually go out for real, as I'm sure all of you are as well. So thank you so much. Traveling Young appreciates it. Yeah. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye.